I'm starting a little bit early because I don't know how much longer my kids are gonna stay put. I maybe asked too early. Hi guys, how are you guys doing? So I'm saying I've just started a little bit early because I don't know how much longer my kids are gonna stay put. But how has your week been? How was the long weekend? Did you manage to read? Because I struggled a bit, to be honest. I didn't read as much as I wanted to. Hi Omp. So I didn't read as much as I'd wanted to over the long weekend. My kids are on holiday. They're only going back to school next week. And funny enough, I think because I have my mornings back, I am able to read more, but I am not able to read as much as I want to yet. Hi Sarah. So as usual, I usually start these off with whatever book mail that I got this week, and this mail came today. It's newly published books from Blackbird, and here they are. I think I want to read you guys because I think these are both like new authors. So I want to read you guys just the back of the book. So let me start with this one. This one says, All Gomorrahs Are the Same. It's by Thenjiwe Mswane. Like I said, the publisher is Blackbird. And hi, Smalley. And it reads, I have not yet buried a child. I have waited on that door every day from the day she left. She left a long time ago. Perhaps it was the day we forced her to grow too fast. The day of her first day at creche, she was too young to start creche. Then she was too young to go to class 1, but she did. Her mother applauded, she received it, worked harder. My daughter was learning how to live from her first day in school. By the time her body left, disappeared from all our lives, she had been missing to herself for a long time. I watched my daughter leave. An epic tale told through the eyes of 3 women. Makhosi, who seems to be angry with the world and unable to find the language to make her mother and sister understand her anger. Duduzile, Makhosi's mother, a working-class mother who grapples with holding on to a relationship with her daughter. Nontle, Makhosi's younger sister, who witnesses in silent angst the widening gap between her sister and her mother. This story lets the reader into the very complicated generational conversations within Black families on a varying range of issues: womanhood, parenting, sexuality, sexual abuse, and most importantly, mental health, addiction, and loss. So a little bit about Thenjiwe. Thenjiwe Mswane holds a master's in anthropology. She is currently studying a PhD with SWAP at the University of Witwatersrand. Mswane is an experienced gender researcher and a retired queer activist. So that is All Gomorrahs Are the Same by Thenjiwe Mswane. And like I'm saying, this is from Blackbird Books. The second one is Invisible Strings by Naledi Mashishi. This one, okay, let me tell you about Naledi first. Naledi Mashishi is a researcher based in Johannesburg. She holds degrees in journalism from Rhodes and Wits University. In 2019, she won the first edition of the Casa Lord Writers Residency hosted by Blackbird Books and Eunice Mgogodo Own Voices Initiative. Invisible Strings is her first novel. So the synopsis is, a spoiled and self-absorbed Mamokgeti Pole's life is brought to an abrupt halt by an unplanned pregnancy. As her daughter Tato grows, she begins to develop otherworldly powers ranging from visions to seeing the dead to healing by touch. A young pastor, Solomon Khumalo, is desperate to prove himself by preaching the word of God to a large and loyal congregation. When he discovers Tato's powers, he makes Mamokgeti a tempting offer. In exchange for money, he will pass off Tato's healing powers as his own. As the pastor's popularity and thirst for power grows, Tato finds herself increasingly haunted by the past. The ripple effects of a family tragedy are still left 30 years later, and the burden of solving it rests on young Tato's shoulders. Invisible Strings is a story about the past bleeding into the present, the living and the dead, and the use of religion to mask sinister intentions. So those are the 2 books. And I think I'm leaning more towards this one as my first read. It's got all the stuff that I like in fiction. So that will probably be the first one. But which of these two do you guys think is most interesting to you between Invisible Strings and All Gomorrahs Are the Same? Like I'm saying, these are recently published by Blackbird Books. So I thought I'd share with you what I got as book mail this week, and those are the two that arrived today. So since the last Friday reads, guys, you know what? I keep saying to myself, I think, sorry, I see Hands Off the Bookstagrams is asking, are they all YA? I think this one is YA. This one doesn't really sound, this one sounds like contemporary adultish fiction. I could be wrong, but they're both fiction. So I'm saying I think I jinxed myself with the TBR for for March, because the dry spell that went through my life, right? I'm only resurrecting myself now, but I'm trying. So since the last time we spoke, I managed to finish 2 books. I finished this one, which I was buddy reading with Transky and Meg, and this is Lenny Kravitz's Let Love Rule. I think I will review this one on my blog, which is vuvuvenareads.com, in case you guys didn't know. I have a lot to say, and my screen keeps going dark. Okay. I have a lot to say, and I understand that this is not even the end. He might have another book after this to finish this story. But anyway, I will share my thoughts on the blog. And then the second book that I finished is Waye Tumo's She Would Be King, which I absolutely loved. This was an Azania Book Club pick for the month of March, which we are dragging into this month a little bit, but we are discussing this weekend. Loved what she was doing here with the librarian story. I don't know if you guys have read from her before, but this was my first time encountering her. I had seen her on the essay book fair last year and absolutely fell in love with her and her concepts around what she was trying to do with her art. So I love this one. So those are the 2 books that I finished this past, I want to say 2 weeks, because I think the last Friday reads was 2 weeks ago. And then I want to get into what I want to read this weekend before we can chat, right? So I'm having a discussion on Sunday about this book, which is Hear Me Alone by Thando Mgolozana with Fence. This one, I've just only started. I think I'm on chapter 2, but then it's all off. I just want to get it right. 130 pages long, and so I don't see that being an issue. I'll be done by Sunday. So far, it's very interesting. There's a little bit of humor in there. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but there is a bit of humor in there. And this is my first Thando book, so I'm excited about that, and I love what he seems to be doing with the story. And then the second book I want to read this weekend is So Long a Later by Mariama Bâ. This is the April book club pick for Azania Book Club. So I would love to finish it this weekend because this is a borrowed copy. Thank you, Ompile. She borrowed me this. So I wouldn't want to hog it for too long. I should be able to finish it early next week as well, since it's only 90 pages long. And I can't wait to dig into this one. This one comes very highly recommended and I've been seeing it around. So if you guys have read it, let me know without spoiling just how much you loved it or what you thought about it. And then in the coming week, because I think last time I confused you guys, so the books that I'm showing you are books that I want to read over the weekend as well as into the week that's coming. So in the coming week, I want to pick up Kintu by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi, which is the Vuvu Vena Reads Book Club pick for March, April, right? And I haven't opened it yet, but I will be done by the time we discuss. So I want to pick this up next week. And I also want to pick up The Death of Vivek Oji by Akweke Emezi. And this one is just a buddy read with a bunch of other readers. So those are the books that are high on my list of books to read. For some reason, I'm craving something very light, something like a romance that's very whimsical and stuff, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to that anytime soon, because what I've done with that pile of books that I said I was going to read in March is that I'm breaking it down and just spreading it out until they are finished. So I've put them aside and I keep picking from that pile, depending on how I feel, and there is no romance in there. sadly for me. But anyway, what are you guys reading? Oh yes, Sarah, these books sound so interesting. I'm so interested in, is this one, right? Yes, Invisible Strings is the one that I said I'm leaning towards first, but definitely this sounds very, very interesting. And I think that like when I'm saying recently published, I'm sure like this week published, which is quite great to have them hot off the press. So those are the two books from Blackbird that Sarah is talking about. Hey, I don't know if these kids are gonna stay put. Hey, I asked them. What I do now is that I tell them that I am going into a meeting. That's the only thing that they understand, because that's the only time that they know they must give me space and be quiet. So this is my meeting. I don't know how long they will stay put for, but this is my meeting. Hi everyone that I didn't greet. Okay, so you think you would like the all Gomorrahs are the same? I think that she tackles very interesting subjects here. They say here that it's generational conversations within Black families on a varying range of issues: womanhood, parenting, sexuality, sexual abuse, and most importantly, mental health, addiction, and loss, which is a lot, right? For this tiny piece of whatever, and for it to be fiction, I think for me, I tend to understand matters more when they're in fiction form. I don't know if that makes sense, because I feel like non-fiction bores me. I don't know how to explain that. But I think that she's packed a lot of themes into a small book, but with fiction, anything can happen. So what are you guys reading or planning to read for the weekend? How has your reading quarter been? Because the first quarter is up, and my January and January and February were quite good. March was something else. On all fronts, not just reading, on all fronts, it was just one of those months that wanted to do its own thing. And I was like, okay, let me not resist. Let it be what it is. So, how has your year been so far with your reading? Do you think that you're going to meet your goals if you set any goals for yourself? How was last month? Because it was hell for me in terms of reading. Hopefully you guys got to read a little bit more. And while you're at it, do share what it is that you guys will be reading this weekend. So for everybody who just came in, I was just showing, hi Charity, I was just showing the books that I got from Blackbird Books today, which is All Gomorrahs Are the Same by Thenjiwe, Mswane, and Invisible Strings by Naledi Mashishi. And then I showed you guys which books I finished since the last time we spoke, which is She Would Be King by Wayetu Moore, which I absolutely loved, and Let Love Rule by Lenny Kravitz, which I was buddy reading with Trans Guy Meg. And then this weekend I plan to delve into these two books specifically, which is So Long a Later by Mariama Bâ, which is the Azanye Book Club pick for the month of April. And then I am discussing this one with Fence on Sunday, which is Hear Me Alone by Tando Mgolozana. And then during the week, next week, I want to pick up these two books, which is The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwege Emezi, and then Kintu by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. So that's what's up. Otherwise, what are you guys reading? Why are you guys so quiet? Who's reading what? What are you planning to read this weekend? We are still here for recommendations, which is why I always ask you guys what you're reading, because some people might not have heard of it. And even if you might have heard of it, you might want to push it up your list when you see somebody else is reading it, which is why I am always asking during these sessions. So Charity says she is currently reading 10 minutes 38 seconds, also reading Pet, The Shadow King, and maybe start a fantasy this weekend, Black Leopard, Red Wolf. Okay, so I've read The Shadow King. I know a lot of people struggle with that one because of the nature of what's her name again, Maza's writing, but it's worth your while. If you find yourself like stumbling, it's really worth your while. If you push through, you will not regret it. I've never heard of 10 minutes 38 seconds. I've heard of Pets. Please let me know how it goes. I haven't been reading a lot of YA lately, and I miss it, to be honest. And then you're saying you might start Black Leopard, Red Wolf. I've seen that one around, but I'm not sure if I know what it's about. But yeah, sounds like a great reading weekend/week. Tell us about 10 minutes 38 seconds. I like the title. Sounds very, very interesting. Okay, so your reading for the quarter is really good. 17 books so far. Oh, girl. I think I'm only on book 13. So I'm meant to be on book 20 by the end of this month, but it ain't gonna happen, okay? It is what it is. But 17 is, and you're almost at the halfway mark of your goal, so that's awesome. Awesome. Hi everyone. So I am looking at the time. You guys do know that Ampile or Bogamuso does readings on Fridays at 5 on her channel as well. So she usually gives you like a taste of new books or I think she sometimes reads from online journals as well, as in literary journals. But she gives you a taste of what's new by reading some extracts for you guys. So if you didn't know that, then every Friday when this is over, do check out her platform as well. I'm looking at the time, like I'm saying, so I'm going to do my final recap so that these kids don't come into this room because I am literally sitting on the edge of this bed, okay? So starting with the books that I received from Blackbird, it's these two. Huh? Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Oh my word. I thought I'd exited the chat. Excuse me. So these two books, which is All Gomorrahs Are the Same and Invisible Strings, published by Blackbird Books, which I got today. And then these are the two books that I finished over the weeks that I was away since our last chat, which is Wayetu Moore's She Would Be King and Lenny Kravitz's Let Love Rule. The books that I want to read this weekend are So Long a Letter by Mariama Bâ and Hear Me Alone by Thando Mkolozana. And the books I want to pick up during the week, which probably I will tell you about next Friday reads, are these two, which is The Death of Vivek Oji by Kweke Emezi and Kintu by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. And that is all that I have for you guys. Viewer says I refuse to state how many books I've finished already this year. I've started quite a few though, and bought many more. As long as you've got the books, right? I feel like if you've got the books, chances are slightly higher than when you don't have them that you will absolutely read them. I was just saying that I had a funk in March and I did not get to as many books as I would have wanted to. In fact, I think I finished 2 books instead of 5 because I'm planning to read, like low-key planning to read 5 books a month. But I finished 2 and instead of 5, and that was like not a good look on me. I didn't enjoy that at all. So I'm playing catch up somewhat, but I'm not pressurizing myself for the catch up. But also, I was, who had commented on, I think on my Facebook when I was mentioning the issue with March, and she was also saying she struggled to, I don't remember who commented, but she struggled to pick up a book, I think this whole year, and she got to a point where she was on some, I'm just gonna let it be. When it comes back, it will come back and I will read then. And I think that is a healthy approach as well. When books aren't happening, there's no need to force it, but we all would love to read. So I feel like sometimes plugging in and reading with other people also helps you to push past that situation. And Charity says 10 minutes 38 seconds is by Elif Shafak. Guys, me and the names, and I know this, I've seen this author's name, but I've never had to say it out loud. So it is about the final moments before death and what is happening in your brain. So apparently after death, our brains are still active for that period. Okay. I've heard this theory before, that once you are declared dead, your brain still functions for a little bit. I've heard this, but I've never known anyone to study further into what happens during that time. So it's for 10 minutes 38 seconds that you're alive after you've been declared dead, or rather that your brain is alive after you've been declared dead, is what I'm understanding from this, which is quite interesting. Will you be reviewing it, Charity? A viewer says she just bought Death of Vivek Oji. Apparently you will not regret a thing. Okay, I don't know if you guys have heard my latest podcast, the one that came out this week. I was chatting with Natasha Mokodi and Kalulu Banda, author of, What's the book? No Be From Here, author of No Be From Here, and that was part of her book recommendations on the channel, The Death of Vivek Oji. She raved about it, so I am ready for it. Yeah, 13 is good, but if I was pushing for 15 at the end of March, then I'm a little bit behind because I won't get to 20 at the end of this month. When Charity, okay. Yeah, Vuvu says she's still in a funk, so get me out of here. Charity says when she's in a funk, she drops whatever she's reading and finds something else that entices her. I also find like light literature, which is why I was saying that I would love to read some romance or something very whimsical. Also helps because you don't have to go into those very deep and thoughtful emotions while you're reading. So you being able to finish a book as quickly as you would something that's light encourages you to read further, I feel. That happens to me. Yeah, it is quite intriguing. Hey, this 10 minutes, 38 seconds. It sounds very interesting. Okay, so when you review it, if you can, here on Instagram, please tag me so that I can just hop on there and see. Because I'm not one for nonfiction, like I was saying. It's not my thing. So if I really am intrigued, I might jump onto it, but I struggle a lot with nonfiction. Also, you might finish it today so that you can review it before the end of this weekend. Okay, great. Oh no, Natasha's book is beautiful. I loved everything she did about that with that book, and it was my first 5-star read of this year. So whenever you have a chance to pick it up, I'm pretty sure you will like it. You will fall in love. Yes, that book does sound very good. It sounds very good. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. And like I said, don't forget to hop on to Bookclub's live that will be happening after this. For those of you who are just coming into this chat, I am ending it, but it will be saved on my IGTV, so you will not have missed anything. I will save it immediately after this. And until next week, let's see what's for you saying. I think I'll jump into Hughes Still Grazing. That should help to get me out of here. I'm a huge fan. Yes. So go for the things that make your heart pump, because that will work for you. So next week we want to hear that you finished something or are in deep into something else. So thank you, Charity. Yes, please tag me. Oh, it's fiction. Okay. Okay. Ooh, okay. That's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Like, I don't wish, because I've given birth. It's not something that I want to remember. I was about to say, I wish I could remember my own birth, but no, thank you. But we will hear what 10 minutes 38 seconds has to say about that. But thank you so very much for joining me. Chat with you guys again next week, Friday. Bye. I was about to say, I don't know how to end this.